that they want to go for a trade, right? If you're like, hey, we want to leave the Xin Zhao open, or they're going to take the Viego, it's like, hey, you get one, we will take away the other.
Well, there it is. Same pick as game number 1 then. If you're going to take the other, you mentioned the Xin Zhao. Things like the Thresh as well we talked about, but wasn't really prioritized in game number 1. I wonder if we're going to be looking towards that Lee Sin once more. Still available, and something that Rookie had a couple of good engages on, a couple of good fights that set them up for success.
I would like to see maybe some AP coming out, because I really doubt the Lee Sin would come out when you have the Xin Zhao in the jungle, because you're going to need to get AP somewhere, and unless they just are willing to go right back to that Gwen, right, that's going to have to be your mid lane role. So instead, going to keep Lucas on the Nautilus, being a team that doesn't care about the Thresh at all, despite, you know, Lucas having played the Thresh before. Now for RNG, they could always just default back to what they did last time around of taking Olaf, but with the Lee Sin let through, that could put a wrench in things, but nope, gonna keep strong and just pick up the Olaf right here, right now. Last time around, it was the Leona. It is something that does have a strong laning matchup into the Nautilus. The distinction around MSI from talking to teams was Leona more useful and stronger in that laning phase, but teams preferring the kind of the ease that Nautilus brings on the map as a whole and later in team fights, the point-and-click use of your ultimate. So could be a bit of a trade.
I just love the discussion around champions because there's so many big ones, right? Sett is still up there. Not the 100% presence that we were used to, but Sett is still a big champion within the meta, and you give yourself a bit more setup this time. But most likely, give Cryin something that is just going to handle abuse through mid.
I'm just surprised and a bit confused, right? Because to me, you're kind of signaling you want to go for an AP bot laner if you're going to have a full AD top side. The only AP bot laner that we see in the meta is Ziggs. Ziggs is something that IG banned in game 1, and I think IG could maybe like look at and know, hey, maybe this is going to be picked. Unless Ming is going to be the one to pick up the Sett. It's not something he's played this split. It's not something we've seen a whole lot of in LPL in the support role anymore. But it is always possible. For IG, they are going to go back to that Gwen, so are going to bring the mixed damage in that top lane role. So going to leave some potential possibilities down in the mid lane. But for IG, I would still expect them to pick AD carry on 4. I think you take AD carry on 4 and then leave that counter pick for Rookie. So hopefully he can get more of a dominating lane matchup, or go on a pick where he does have more comfort. Something like the Lucian, which he's played many times this split and has pulled out and had great performances, you know. There's just a ton of options for Rookie if he can see for sure what Cryin will be piloting in that mid lane.
Because let's just come back to bot for a second, is the Ziggs still left open. So to fill out some of the AP damage profile you talked about, we're seeing that as a potential option for RNG, but this would just be a nice little takeaway that says, well, Gala, how are you going to fill it out now?
So yeah, that makes sense. I was wondering why IG weren't banning the Ziggs, but instead just wanting to take it away themselves. Ziggs, a very self-sufficient bot laner. All your abilities, you just throw them at the wave, and you can pretty much just sit back, chill, not have to worry about anything. You already have the 80 damage coming out from your Xin Zhao. This also does keep the possibility of Rookie going back towards the Lee Sin alive, because it has just gone through draft. And now for RNG, Varus is something that can deal with the Ziggs in the bottom lane, because you have poke yourself, you have a decent amount of wave clear going on. But now is where I wonder what they're going to do, because, right, unless they do commit Sett down to that support role, which you do have all in with the flash, with the Hex Flash, of trying to get onto the Ziggs. And there it is. They are going to bring out the Orianna, so AP damage isn't going to be a concern for the side of RNG. But Orianna's still not a champion I like too much this split. It feels like she's way too slow of coming online. IG coming out with a much more interesting draft, even bringing out Rookie's Lucian, which is something we were hoping we would get to see. I feel like it's been by far his best champion this split, sitting 3 wins, 1 loss so far. And you have a ton of damage, you have a decent front line, and I feel like you have a lot of ways of kind of creating chaos, right? Because you have 2 big playmakers in your soul lane. You have this champion that can just sit mid and catch waves once we hit that mid game point. And it's going to be all about that individual skirmishing power. How can members like Rookie or TheShy step up to find those opportunities in team fights for them to be able to take over the game?
I think the first thing I'm looking for this time around is how top lane goes, right? Considering we get the exact same matchup, but coming back to it as well, Lucian versus the Orianna, ways to dodge away from the distance, the command attack, even the shockwave with the relentless pursuit. Really exciting stuff. You already highlighted the Lucian from Rookie, which is one of his flavor picks, but you know, again, we come back to it. While the damage profile late game for AP is there, a lot of AD to build against, a lot of, I guess we get some lethality in there as well, especially with the Varus. So Fun drafts once again, Lyric, and I'll get you to run me through deeper going into this matchup, because it does feel like with the Xin Zhao on IG, this time around, you get a bit more triumph in the lanes if you're able to get those early ganks off as well, or set yourself up for dueling.
Yeah, I mean, I think both the Xin Zhao and the Lucian definitely bring more opportunities in that laning phase for IG to find something and get ahead early on. But going back to that point about, sure, they finally have the AP, I still think it's too easy for IG to just buy armor early on, and then RNG don't have that much early game damage, because we've seen Orianna so many times this split come in, be able to offer really nothing in early game skirmishes. You hit a shockwave on 3 or 4 people, it does 5% of their HP, you walk away, you're like, well, what was the point of that?
That's right, and then you go, well, okay, we need a couple more items, but by then, a Lucian, a Gwen, how they sit in the side lanes, Lyric, it's just so easy. And I want to point out that Ziggs being in the meta, a lot of people will say, oh my god, it's a Ziggs pick. I've started to get used to it. SMLZ, Kramer have pulled this out a couple of times now, and it has just been a pretty stable option that can sit mid later in the game, has immense wave clear, and a Lucian and Gwen in the side lane can add so much pressure.
It's something that we've seen more of abroad as well, to where I think it was on LEC last night where I was watching, I'm like, oh, we're seeing Ziggs bans, we're seeing Ziggs picks, something that we're not really seeing here in the LPL outside of, you know, 1 or 2 players using it as a bit of a niche pick coming out. So gonna see IG adapt. I also like this for the fact that Wink has a simple job and a very easy to execute role on this roster. You don't have a ton of dive potential coming out from RNG either, so he should be able to sit safely back, just throw out his Qs, hope for the best, clear minion waves, and allow the other members of IG to succeed. But now I really want to keep my eye on bottom lane, especially just for the fact that Ming did pick up that Sett. And we know Sett all-2 on the bottom lane. Look for a flash play at level 1 or 2, because you typically do bring that Hex flash. And then you're sitting in a place where there's so much threat coming out from a potential jungle gank or just another all-in that you are able to guarantee yourself some priority. And
you can interrupt the satchel charge as well, which is something I really want to see this game. Satchel charge mid-air, remember. The Face Breaker is a great interrupting tool that can be quite a pain for the Ziggs as well, if he can get that Hex Flash and surprise him. But on the map, I want to point out the trading once again. It's Xiaohu in this top lane, who's hit level 2. TheShy's learnt a little bit, but again, it is great trading and tethering that we saw earlier that has enabled Xiaohu to build up this wave and push TheShy back already. While in the mid lane, it's Rookie versus Cryin. The Orianna walks right in front of the piercing light and gets hit pretty hard.
And I mean, right, no matter how well Rookie's performing overall this split, his laning has still been top class. I mean, especially on this champion, which is just such a lane bully and really doesn't have any losing matchup in the meta. Used to have certain 50-50 or 45-55 matchups like the Syndra, but we are long past those days. Going back to the top lane real quick, there also was an adaptation, right? Because TheShy last game did take Ghost, and Xiaohu actually took Ignite. This time around, Xiaohu is taking Flash, TheShy is taking Ignite, so TheShy wanting to have more kill pressure, and Shun gonna look for this opportunity. I think TheShy is way too far.
Definitely wants to get away from the Xin Zhao. Spectral Maw is there, but goes into melee range first. Wants the knock up, slams him down when Wind comes lightning, but Shun is now in a bad place. His way is running in with a level advantage, and TheShy won't be able to do too much damage. The snip good, and now Cryine's into the middle of it. Rookie's joined in, but what can he get done as Cryin runs into him with hardly any mana? He has to save TheShy, and it's a double 80 carry for the time being, as Lucas in the bottom lane is just dead. IG lose 2 in 2 different lanes.
And absolutely tragic, right? We see up in the top side, Xiaohu, a kind of nice way to walk around, get his stun, go through Shun, so he's not able to be locked down, knocked up, or forced to flash. And then when we see the TPs come out, because of where the fight is, Cryin gets a much better TP location than Rookie, because the wave was by TheShy's tower, so Rookie not able to get in there and influence the fight with all of his early damage, and RNG just gonna walk out with a massive win. We didn't see how the 2v2 kill came about in the bottom lane, but Gala and Ming also showing their stuff that they are just a better bottom lane than Wink and Lucas so far this split. We see the Face Breaker come out. Satchel Charge actually able to keep Gala away, but I feel like the biggest thing there was the fact that Haymaker was still able to get all that damage down to set up for that piercing arrow to come out from Varus.
I mean, it was a huge amount of damage, and more importantly for Gala, burning the flash makes it worth, because you have a serrated Dirk, you're versing the Ziggs within this lane before he can actually just constantly wave clear, walk away from you and not be afraid. But with a lead, Wink now in a bit of trouble, and this is how it starts for Gala. This is how for RNG through the lanes. They've already built up a 1K advantage.
Yeah, and this is not the series we expected coming into it, right? Both teams struggling. IG actually having a series win over RNG right now. They're sitting at 3 wins. RNG only sitting at 2.
Yep.
We thought, hey, maybe scrappy games go the full distance, but so far, RNG in firm control, especially when they're on champions like this that they do know so well. It's hard to bet against them. TheShy this time around, though, is having a better time in the laning phase, which does feel like a big part of IG's draft. When you have comps that do rely on getting side lane control, you need those side laners to at least be even, if not ahead, for your comp to be able to play out the way that it needs to, right? Pushing out the lanes, getting the deep vision, consistently roaming once we hit that mid game. So TheShy not going down to a deficit feels really great.
And TheShy trying to hit level 6 first, which he has now done, but Wei has returned. Needlework comes out, 1, 2, and 3. Hits the final one, but Xiaohu doesn't drop. Now he has to verse the Angry Viking, but doesn't have Ragnarok. So Wei following this is not going to be the right call, especially with Shun, who's now joined in. Backs away, Xiaohu as well, very low, trying to sustain this up, while his teleport has already been burnt.
Yeah, but still, Wei gonna be able to help him push out the wave. I think Xiaohu feels a lot more confident about walking up to do this because his Heartbreaker just came off cooldown. So if any 2v2 would have happened, they could have tried to outplay it and look for those resets. Instead, we're gonna see Shun default back to clearing his jungle. Wei just waiting in the wings, I guess, hoping that TheShy overextends and maybe thinking if TheShy kept pushing, he could potentially hit level 6 off the wave. I'm not sure what his XP is right now to confirm that, but both sides going to reset. We're about 1 minute and 20 seconds off the first Rift Herald, which feels like where we can get some real action.
Better Shockwave.
You know, like we said, Shockwave not really doing too much damage, but that Shockwave was just about stopping the culling, making sure Rookie isn't able to get that damage down onto Cryin. And both mid laners at this point probably looking for a bit of a reset coming into this expected roam around the Rift Herald.
You'd think so, because for Rookie, he's feeling pretty good with the items already. Double longsword, tier more passive here is Cryin, taking a bit of damage walking forward. Shun might be looking to dive this one, Lyric, considering that Rookie has his flash available, but spotted out by a deep ward. Shun now backing away. Doesn't have 6 either to kind of create space, so Cryin going to be comfortable for now at the very least. His teleport not up, just wants to stay for one more wave so he doesn't miss out on EXP.
Yeah, Rookie wanted to force that trade because before this, he still had 1 corrupting potion stack, so he just used that, so he did have a resource advantage over Cryin.
Sure.
Now, both of them having used those, they do have some biscuits, but Rookie's still in a position with more health and mana to look for these aggressive trades. We were hitting on how we thought both teams would look to default towards that top side to look for that Rift Herald trade, especially for IG, who, like we hit on, I feel like their soul laners need to be ahead, so looking for that gold trade and opting for the Herald and giving up something like an early Dragon definitely feels beneficial for their composition. Maybe Shun just gonna clear his bottom side camps, make his way towards the top side, and then look for that expected play.
I'm still looking mid though, because Rookie's going deep on this turret. Wei's going to be spotted out by a ward. Control ward to help get the grasp of the situation. Lucas moving up as well. And mid still continues to be the focus. Both objectives standing there for now before we start talking about decisions. But Wink moving up gives you an idea of what IG really want about this, especially with TheShy pushing in. Just some deep wards and early Herald access now available for Invictus Gaming.
Yeah, and we have everything up on both sides, right? We have ultimates across the board. No flashes are down. Looks like we're going to get a bit of a scrap. Neither mid laner really has mana, but Cryin does a blue buff.
And a culling as well. Shun gets the follow-up, immediate flash away. Cryin only gets a one-man shockwave, but it is the jungler who crescent guards into an Olaf. That won't matter. Reset starts here from Xiaohu, who will get the follow-up too. Chain corruption on the back end. Gala and Ming are zoning them away. Rookie Wink can't get into the fight, and now Ming gets a perfect engage and a double kill to boot. Xiaohu with a lockdown onto Rookie, and Invictus Gaming without a single kill to their name in Game 2.
IG funnel into the choke, which sets up the reset for Xiaohu, which allows for the rest of the fight to go RNG's way. They were trying way too hard to get that kill into Cryin, and you pointed out the main damage dealers of IG actually weren't able to follow up. Yes, Hysterics, we're seeing a ton of emotes spammed by Wink, but they actually don't matter at all, as RNG can't dive and kill him.
No, I guess not. I was thinking maybe there's a chance, but God, the choke you talked about. Invictus Gaming, they got damage off and they just wanted to keep going forward.
Yeah, we see the calling come out, but really nice flash from Cryin. Shun's W not able to connect, and then Shun's in an awkward place, and then look at Xiaohu. Gets the Heartbreaker to come out, already setting up for his resets. It also buys time for Ming and Gala to wrap around, which forces it so Rookie and Wink aren't able to follow up with TheShy or Shun to help them dish out any damage, to finish off any of the low HP bars on the side of RNG. And then 6 and 0 at 10 minutes, a 2K gold lead. They also have the Herald, so they're going to be able to open up that gold lead by at least another 300 to 500 gold. For IG, things are looking extremely rough.
I want to say one thing, and that is Xiaohu getting Viego's second game in a row is an absolute crime. After what we just saw, you feel like you've learned the lesson after seeing him pop off. He's now 2-0-3 again with Divine Sundra. This Viego, again, is fed. While RNG don't need to worry about the top side, they say, okay, Xiaohu can back off. He's not going to give anything. We're just going to take first turret blood, and Wink won't be able to catch up with the satchel charge.
Yeah, and they have Herald, they have numerous members bot, only TheShy is there to answer, so RNG on top of this even going to get another turret to where Xiaohu is able to answer the push up in topside, has his ult available, probably gonna have to back off because there are 2 members there, but RNG gonna get a massive win off this trade. Dragon is live as well, so they can just peel off, go take Dragon, starting that Dragon stacking for themselves. And there's nowhere that IG are winning out in this situation.
No, a small trade in the end, but that is not a win, not by far. Wait will start this first Dragon of the game at a very late time of 11 minutes, but look at the gold, folks. 3,000 on the top of your screen, and even Ming has a bounty. He picked up a couple of kills in the fight, while Rookie, he's getting low. That was a pretty close call, as Cryin does quite more than I expected. It was Shockwave again that's coming through and trying to punish Rookie down from his culling.
Rookie was also aggroing minions that whole time, right? So probably taking a ton of damage from minions. Feels like Rookie maybe feeling a little bit desperate in this situation, being like, hey, I need to be the one to find an advantage for my team. I got this winning matchup. I got one of my best champions to split, but in the end, not able to do it, not having the damage necessary just yet. And RNG just going to pull them across the map. You look at both side waves, both are being pushed out. IG having to answer both of those. So the resets are coming out from RNG. They're going to have tempo on the map to go and get their own vision down to where then they'll be able to go back to side lanes, push those out, and keep just pulling IG apart.
No. Well, here comes the flash. Predicted! Relentless pursuit, no more. That's just nice. It might be a solo kill, guys. He was at half HP, but, I mean, Xiaohu on this Viego, what can you do?
And you know, the saddest part is that it's still so early in the game, plates are still up. So when you're this far ahead this early in the game, you just get to keep extending your gold lead so much off of that plate gold. So for RNG, we said like 2 minutes ago, a 2K gold lead. A minute later, 3K. Now we're up to 4. We're going to get to 5 so soon. And we look at what options IG has available. And it's so hard because RNG are just playing off 2 lanes. They're not playing like a 3-lane style where you can maybe send Shun to TheShy's lane and try to find a pick on sides. You look at what RNG is doing. They're continuously just having numerous members stacked in mid and then sending the main core to hover up around where Xiaohu is. You only send someone like Cryin to answer the side wave when they absolutely need to. So even the typical response opposite side play that could come out from IG, RNG haven't given them the opportunity to look for it.
So hard when Ming as well on this set is quite far ahead. They're going to TP and try it now, though. That's Rookie onto the back end. The Dredge line doesn't connect in response. TP culling into the Sett's going to fill up the Haymaker shield. 5 bottom for Invictus Gaming. The TP burnt, and you get absolutely nothing. Xiaohu's not afraid of you. He's a one-item Viego who's so far ahead of the curve. And just like that, IG's play is thwarted, and gold still remains at 5,000 as turret plates now fall.
Yeah, and you might have forced out Xiaohu's TP as well, but you're also losing minions on the top half of the map, so overall losing out a little bit. And TheShy might be too far forward.
All right, Needlework there. Last TP of RNG as IG now returns to the bottom wave. Needlework keeps him alive, but he's absolutely destroyed. Meanwhile, from multiple fronts, it's Gala who has to burn double summoner. Rookie's chasing him and might get something here. The first kill of IG, he has no relentless pursuit. He flashed for that as well. And RNG got Shun on the back end.
And I mean, if IG didn't have one turret, this could have been a potential perfect game coming out from RNG. And yeah, that was just so sad to see from Rookie. Looked for it. Chains of Corruption, actually, I think is what kept Gala alive. That also did have his own flash.
Yeah, here we go
Ming
again.
Showstopper.
I mean, Rookie, he doesn't have summoners. He relentless pursued it out of that one, and Ming still holding on for his dear life. Goodbye to Rookie. No matchup safe in this game. 10-0. Royal never give up. Bring in the pain to welcome TheShy and IG coming back together.
And it's just so crazy, right? That IG come out, they...
Ragnarok.
Oh, no.
He's dead. He's dead, but can TheShy get a trade kill? Well, Cryine's here. Answers no for now, and Lucas nowhere nearby. Blue buff is a small little memento of what was. Your jungle's not safe. Lyric, what were you going to say? Because this just feels over.
Like, okay, IG 2-0ing FPX and then losing to Rogue Warriors is an IG thing, right? It's something we all could have predicted. You called it at the end of that broadcast that day. But it's just so crazy to see IG be able to step up in that situation, dominate FPX, and then fall apart so massively in the following series. We're going to get a replay from extremely far back.
That's great.
Xiaohu going for that W and then ulting in. Just like you said, Rookie was already half HP, so that one was pretty much solidified. Is here, TheShy being off on his lonesome. Xiaohu going to look for the initial engage. Sure, Hollowed Mist comes out, but there's 4 members of RNG here. There's really nothing you're able to do. Is Rookie looking for this one. The bond from Ziggs does come out, and man, we're just getting action all over the place. Our observers having to go back and forth. So not going to see how Gala really was able to get away. I guess just the flash and heal, able to secure that one. Dragon coming up in 20 seconds, though. I don't think IG are in any place to contest, which is why we see them on the top half of the map right now. The problem is, there isn't really anything for you to take, and even if you look at the minimap right now, both Cryin and Xiaohu are taking the topside jungle camps, so there isn't even anything for IG to steal.
I just love that they're all positioning top, saying, okay, is there anyone out of place? But Xiaohu is a level 11 Viego, who is not going to be easily thwarted by 2 people. Has the Heartbreaker, Flash is almost available. That'll make it harder to catch him. Meanwhile, RNG just do the Dragon and take what they want on the map. Remember that Ming as well has the Herald available. So this outer, not long for the world. And RNG can play around with this and just pull IG across the map.
Yeah, and they've done a decent job so far. Does look like TheShy is holding the wave up in topside though. Might have a bit of a freeze going. I haven't really been able to see, but he's had it there for quite a while. Also, is even with Xiaohu and CS right now, despite Xiaohu having that massive advantage. We are going to turn back towards the mid lane as that Herald does come out, like you stated. Way posturing in between turrets to make sure that no one from IG can walk up. So hoping to guarantee that second charge to come out.
Maybe Rogue Warriors broke IG. Not going to get the second charge here, but just a passing thought I've had there, Lyric. If it looks so good against FPX, but then Rogue Warriors turn up and you say, oh boy, we remember these guys from 2020. What doozies. We definitely have seen the best and worst of IG this split, and you know, while TheShy hasn't had the greatest performance, we need to look holistically. Invictus Gaming have fallen apart at the seams throughout many different lanes, and even now through inner topside. RNG group on up, Mega Inferno Bomb, fantastic from Wing, but that only buys time and maybe a bit of space as Xiaohu's too low. And for now, RNG can back anyway because they've got a minute 40 until this Baron, until they can threaten this and pull IG into their web again.
And that's the thing, right, is RNG do have a really good turn onto the roster of IG. You have the Chains of Corruption coming out from Gala. You can have Ming sitting off on, you know, a brush behind the pit, or that brush just coming out of your own blue side jungle to find the flank and the engage with the Sett. And then you can pick up the kills, look for that same Baron play. I don't know if RNG will be as quick to look for it this time around. Last time they got it off that pick coming out from Wink. For RNG right now, with how far accelerated Xiaohu is, I think you probably just keep him in the side lane at first, get control of those, start moving over and get vision, and try to find a pick in the enemy jungle before just defaulting to that Baron pick. Because for IG, they still have a lot of damage that can come out if you just funnel into the Baron pit, especially being on red side. I think it feels really good for your Ziggs, just being over that wall, throwing in all that AoE damage, and trying to chunk the members of RNG low, setting up for your ultimate. So for RNG, that card not going to be exactly available, but they're going to make the right plays. We already see Xiaohu down in that bottom lane, pushing out the waves, trying to force TheShy on the map. Cryin going to catch that wave up in topside, and then the rest of the court already setting up by walking into IG's topside jungle to get vision down.
Doing more of what you said, right? To set up and go into that jungle, you need to clear it away first and set your own. Because IG have a lot of defensive vision up towards this top side, looking towards where Wei is going to be inevitably charging through. Remember that Wei on this Olaf has kind of been the quiet achiever. He's been really good with the gank so far. He's been pretty much in the right place, always at the right time. Another stable pick that it feels like RNG needed, because stability was something that we saw just wasn't there. RNG not coordinated, not consistent. Wei, when he returns on this Olaf, has felt good over the past 2 series, and I think that's what RNG fans wanted. A team that returns to what made them strong, which is jungle pressure and jungle consistency most of all.
It kind of scares me though, Hysterics. Are we going to see teams let this happen once again to where during MSI, it was Kai'Sa Udyr. We saw it. We saw those 2 champions 5 games in finals just thinking, just let them over. Is it going to be Olaf Viego? Is that going to be the new RNG special, where teams just continuously give it over? RNG picks up all these wins, where you'd be like, well, what if they didn't have these champions? What if they were forced out of their comfort like earlier on? RNG trying to set up those picks that we were hitting on, but IG are being a bit respectful.
Yeah, a bit sus there. He knew there was something sus in that brush. Lucas was not walking in. So RNG back off once again, and you can see there's no vision around the Baron, but Mega Inferno Bomb has to be used. Scrying Ward on cooldown as well, so now that that's gone once again, RNG know that IG have to come checking.
Yeah, RNG gonna once again look for these same picks. I think Ming finds it.
Well, he doesn't actually go on in. Little satchel charge that disengages from Wing. RNG just gonna be taking the camp. We're gonna do the do-si-do around the jungle, and we're going to wait to see who cracks first.
I mean, at the same time, right, you are at least choking IG out from their jungle camps.
Yep.
Should in that time able to get the steal on his own red buff, but we've seen consistently, right, his Raptors, his Krugs, his bottom side Gromp, these things taken away numerous times. So for RNG, they are trying to play the slow game. Dragon's up in 10 seconds, so they're already defaulting down towards the bottom side. This should be a free pickup for RNG once again, because IG still just trying to answer back with gold. It feels like they're waiting for maybe an overstep to come out from the side of RNG, or for RNG to look for that Baron contest where maybe the Ziggs and the Gwen can try to set something up with all the damage that they provide, but RNG just not giving them the window.
They're really not, and we have to remember that now that this is sole point, IG have to come check this. IG will have to come deal with this in 5 minutes time. Otherwise, they give away the free Ocean Soul. It means that people like Orianna, Gala as well on this Varus. The Viego with Ocean Soul, I mean, come on.
Ooh, Hysterics. Look at Rookie, though. Rookie's waiting in that brush, hoping for Cryin to overstep, and is going to look for the solo kill.
Gale forces there as well, going for an armor pen item second here onto the Ori. Will he have enough damage? The answer for now is yes. Gale forced use. There's the shockwave. He waited in the end and flashes over the wall, but the blast cone, it's gone wrong. Mega Inferno Bomb! Wink at least gets the trade. It comes from downtown, but RNG, equal numbers on the board, still a lot stronger.
And now RNG saying, hey, Rookie is down. We are going to look for this trade. For RNG, though, I'm not quite sure that they can look for it. They are going to peel off immediately. So they're just trying to pull them into the pit to look for that engage. They do get Lucas's flash out of it.
They do. That's quite big. If IG want to turn a play, Ming now going to have to walk over a couple of wet water balloons. Ming and Wei here by themselves. IG looking, and that's aggressively from TheShy, who's going to be going for the Nash's Tooth once again. So it's a pick for a pick, and because IG are down, it is a favorable trade considering that they actually got something. And it went to the Ziggs, who is going to be one of the strongest scaling members. And now TheShy's forcing. I think he knew they were there with the face breaker ignite down. Gwen survived for a long time, though. But RNG still have 2 of the litter. Shun goes over the wall. And just like that, the game returns to normal.
And I'm just saying, I would have really liked to see Azanias come out from TheShy. I feel like this game, it even makes more sense than last game round.
Yep.
And then in scenarios like that, right, where you're forcing to go in, you're looking for the engage, you then Zanias, you buy time for the rest of your team to come in.
Can he do it? Can he do it?
He doesn't find it.
Oh, it's worth a shot.
It is worth a shot, but RNG at this point, just too far ahead, Baron. Dragon's coming up in 3 minutes, so even if they aren't able to close out the game within that period, which I assume they won't, right? They're against the Ziggs. There's a ton of wave clear on that side. As we see the 1v1 coming out. Nice shockwave by Cryin, and then this. So sad from Rookie. Dashes in, not able to get any autos to come out, and then he's taken down. But hey, you know, the bomb from Ziggs able to secure that kill, and then things were fine. Things were fine until this moment where TheShy looks for the engage. He knows they're in this brush. I don't know if he knows the extent of how many people were in that brush.
He had
because
a fresh ward.
I feel like he regrets it immediately, goes in, dies right away, and then RNG picks it up.
Lyric, the ward was just put in and they attacked it, so they know there's 3 people in the brush. Very much of the shy thing to do, yeah. It feels like we've got a game of his Gwen once again where... Do you remember what his score was in game number 1, Lyric? Because he got a shutdown.
I do not.
But look, definitely outweighing the deaths so far. Remember that in his career, TheShy actually still has more deaths than kills. That is a very impressive stat, and I feel like only he could achieve that. As now against his top turret, in a turret against a Baron, I mean, TheShy standing here alone has to back away while Wei is potentially flanking. And Xiaohu through the mid lane with Baron is going to get the inner. In one fell swoop, RNG have taken 2 more turrets, pushed the gold lead here to about 10,000 and then some. And RNG looking for a little bit more.
Yeah, now for IG, they're lucky that they have the wave clear coming out from the Ziggs, but it's still not going to do too much against these Baron up minions. For RNG, they can just play it a bit patiently. IG did a decent job of holding on for that like 5 to 10 minute window, but still, the overzealousness to look for those picks came back to bite them in the end. And Shun taking a ton of damage from Cryin.
I mean, he can't walk up. Everybody's doing damage at this point. Cryan's had a pretty decent game on the Orianna. The comfort picks we talked about that RNG would play towards, it's worked out really nicely in both Game 1, Game 2 as they approach now closer towards the base. Gala pushing up the culling means absolutely nothing until the Mega Inferno Bomb comes through. Wink is doing damage, but it's going to require a miracle to stop this onslaught from Royal Never Give Up.
I mean, the problem is that no one else on your team can get in range to follow up on your damage or to set up for the picks coming out. If they do, it's just going to be like last time where someone at least is going to have to give their life, probably like Rookie or TheShy, to get that damage off to where then, hey, maybe a Mega Inferno Bomb can finish someone off. So you're seeing the pitfalls of IG's composition, and it goes back to a topic from earlier that, hey, IG's comp kind of relied on the Gwen and Lucian getting ahead, being ahead, and then being able to play off those advantages. Now from behind, it just feels so hard, especially with the members of RNG that are ahead. The Olaf, the Viego specifically, you walk in range, they just have so much burst to be able to take you out right away, as we've seen numerous times. And now Dragon's live, so for IG, I'm not quite sure what they do. They don't even have the Mega Infernal Bomb available to look for the steal, so without that, they're just going to back off, they're going to give it over, and they're just going to commit to the slow bleed and commit to hoping that RNG makes a mistake.
It's free real estate. Feels like that was absolutely free in the end. Well, RNG now with Ocean Soul, and yep, you hope for the mistake, you hope for something, but guys, let's be honest, this one, diddly done. I want to point out, I was talking about a stat before, IG's TheShy. Now, in his career, this is total. TheShy has 1,151 kills, but he has 1,262 deaths. TheShy has 111 more deaths than kills. This is definitely a fun TheShy status into the backline. Look at Ming. That's a Sett who forces the flash with a haymaker down. IG can do no right at this point. Ming will die, but IG now trying to kill someone else, which, to be fair, they do. But Viego on the backline getting reset means now you need to run. Dredgeline not connecting. There's the Heartbreaker, though. TheShy in his last legs after Wink dies as well. Rookie here to watch. And RNG absolutely smacking their rivals on the bottom.
Yeah, and a flanking Lucian just doesn't hit the same Hysterics. Rookie gonna try his best to save the game, but I think this should just be the time where RNG can end.
It was our match of the week, but the only weak people were IG here in this series, while RNG shape up, fly right, go back to comfort, and show us that this team is starting to climb the standings here at the end of week number 4. All 5.
Definitely looks like TheShy. Yeah. Definitely looks like TheShy is going to need some time to, warm up back into things, get in the groove of being a starting LPL top laner on IG, because, yeah, this, not the best performance coming out from him, but like you said in the game, the team overall, a lot of issues. Game 1, I think, was definitely better, and I think it's easier to pinpoint where things went wrong to where this time around, it just started off so early. It was around the 4 to 5 minute mark where we remember IG are looking for that play topside to gank Xiaohu. Xiaohu outplays it quite well. The TP from Cryin comes in, and it's in a much better position than Rookie's TP can follow up, because Rookie has to TP at TheShy's turret, and, you know, RNG picks up a kill there. At the same time, on the bottom side, Ming and Gala are 2v2ing Lucas and Wing. So from early on, you're already losing everywhere on the map. That translated into a skirmish around Herald where RNG are able to win out. And from there, it just felt so hard for RNG to be able to find their footing back into this game. They did try. They went for picks. We saw the solo kill try and come out from Rookie to open up a side lane or open up an avenue where, hey, maybe we buy a few more minutes on the map. But it wasn't able to come through in the end. We're seeing Xiaohu on our screen. He had some exceptional performances today. And for RNG to keep on this trajectory, I feel like we just got to keep seeing what we're seeing now. Xiaohu has to be the main focal point. He's the one stepping up. Wei had some good games. Wei on this Olaf once again. Cryin on comfort. It has been the two C words we've been saying all day long. And then it feels like your bottom lane is your plug and play piece. You know, they don't have the same diversity as a bot lane like Viper and Mako, but they're still able to pull out a lot. Really cool to see Ming pulling out this set and the impact that he was able to have on the game. And damn, I'm surprised by the damage that Wei put out this game.
Yeah, I mean, his Olaf was great. Again, I have to highlight that this jungle pick for him puts him back to a point of stability. It's exciting. It's like watching him on the Udyr, right? Gave him points of control, early game skirmishing, the ability to influence some of these lanes early on as well. It's just nice seeing Wei with a form of control, because Lyric, you and I were talking about it. I think Xiaohu has been the best performing member. I would argue and say that Ming was equal first as well. He's really been coming back online in the past couple of weeks. We've seen RNG go through so many different versions of Split, or rather so many different question marks. It is nice to round out this week, this end of week 5, with a Royal Never Give Up that now moves above IG, that moves towards the top 10 of the standings, and that has a decent schedule ahead that they can play through.
Yeah, RNG hopefully scaling back up into form, because despite their 2-0 against LGD in their last series, again, it was not convincing at all. You look at RNG in that series and you're like, can you really do it? Like, things are looking very dicey, but this win is definitely solid. I'm still not sure how much to take away from it, because it is against IG, who are a bit of an enigma, right? Like, this series could have gone many different ways in many different timelines. So yeah, for RNG, it's still nice. They're making their way towards, hopefully, that playoff berth, which you would expect. It goes back to an interview that Xiaohu said, I think it was after their very first loss from coming back, that, hey, I don't know if fans should expect us to finish highly in the regular split. We're probably going to try and come into playoffs at a low seed and then make a big run from there. That was his expectation back then. Seems like it's probably still something similar with where RNG are in the standings. And when we look at IG, it's still pretty rough. They're at 3 series wins, which right now 10th place is only 4. So it's not impossible for them. It's not, you know, it's not tragic. It's not life ending, but they're still going to need to start stringing things together. They still have V5 left. They still have TT left. There are still some very expected wins for IG, but they're going to need to start beating some middle tier teams if they want to make their way to playoffs, because I cannot imagine a playoffs without IG. Despite IG not winning these past few splits, IG have always been in playoffs.
Yeah, they have, and they've gone out in round 1, but then somehow they still managed to get close to making it to Worlds, at least towards the regional finals. Talking about IG as well in that schedule, I mean, now that they lost to RNG, it's JDG who are looking a bit better too. It is Top Esports who just took down FPX as well. Just going through their schedule, they smashed V5, not FPX, excuse me. They beat EDG. They beat RNG. So Top Esports, by no means an easy team, if I could get the words out. BLG, WE, Rare Atom. These variables make it very difficult for IG to get some momentum in this split, and I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't know what that was, that series, but a lot of fun from
Hysterics,
RNG.
What IG need is for, you know, they go back home, TheShy like has this like crazy life realization, like one of those like hippie Indian like voodoo dreams where he gets all the answers, and then he comes back and then he's the big carry for IG, because I'll be honest, that's the only way I can imagine IG making the run they need to get into playoffs at this point, or maybe not to get into playoffs, but to be a better team, right? To start performing well, to start picking up consistent wins.
It's just gotta be better,
exactly.
Right? Just be better. That's gonna be super easy for this team. Because with all of our other mid-tier teams stepping up, and if IG dropping the ball like this, things become a little bit more difficult. Remember that now...
Even Suning stepped up recently.
That's right. I mean, Suning looking a little bit better. LGD's a team that's developed with their new team. OMG, like a bottom-tier team that has become a middle-tier team. If IG don't make it to playoffs, sure, it'll be a shock, but it's like we've seen it coming with everything that they've shown us on the stage so far. And maybe Rogue Warriors end up going into playoffs because everyone's saying they're going to Worlds. They did beat IG, so that makes a lot of sense when you look at it.
Yeah, you know, Ice Coke fandom, which is kind of funny because Ice Coke didn't even play. Ice Coke didn't even play in that game, which is the funniest part. But Ice Coke, the big fan favorite. But yeah, when we come back to this series, right? I think overall, Wei probably gonna pick up the MVP. Wouldn't be too surprised with Xiaohu either because I know in LPL we do quite like the flashy plays coming out. And for RNG, I like that they've gone back to what's comfortable not only in picks, but in play style of enabling your top lane, not really paying or heeding much attention to your bottom lane. That does also just fit with the meta, so something that does work a bit better for RNG. It is interesting, though, that we don't see Ming roaming as much as he was in spring, but that probably also does go to the fact that RNG's bot lane this split hasn't typically been in winning positions as much as they were in spring, so hopefully as their bot lane can start to pull it together like they did this game with those 2v2 kills, we can see Ming on the map more.
Well, I've been told we don't have MVP yet, but we do have. I got told Ming. I also heard Xiao and I heard Ming. So it is Ming. I'm just confirming there. It's like a balance of Xiaohu and Ming. Ladies and gentlemen, we are going to send over our interview.